All right, so today we're going to do, you would usually call these like weighted average problems. Earlier in the school year, we did something with this. We just didn't do it with systems. When we did mixtures, yeah, those were weighted averages where you were doing parts of this and parts of that. So today we're going to do more weighted averages, but these are going to be, if you looked at a textbook from like 100 years ago, you'd still see these types of problems, yeah? And the type of problem they're going to be is they're usually going to tell you how many you have and then how much they're worth. So if I was reading problem 4 there, example 4, how many do I have? 60. And how much are they worth? Come on. $7.80, right? How many and how much? Yeah, very traditional problem. Now there are some shortcuts to solving these, but we're going to solve these with systems, all right? So the first thing we have to do is define our variables. So what's our variables in this problem? So N and Q, yeah? Now I want you to get this out of your head right now. N does not stand for nickels. What do you think N stands for? The number of nickels, right? So the number of nickels and Q stands for number of quarters. And I want you to get something. This is a mistake some people make. Well, you know what? I'll just start working the problem. You'll see the mistake. All right. So the number of nickels plus the number of quarters equals? Is it the 780 or is it the 60? The 60. It's how many coins plus how many coins equals how many coins? 60. The mistake people make is then they say also N plus Q. Don't write this, please, but N plus Q equals 780. And that one is wrong. What's wrong with it?
Because that's the amount he has.
Okay, so it can't be the same one twice, right? Okay, if you had 3 nickels, how much money do you have? If you had 3 nickels, how much money do you have? So what did you do mathematically? You took the 3 and you multiplied it by what? 5 cents, right? And that's how you got the 15 cents. So if you want to figure out how much they're worth, you don't do N plus Q. You do 5 cents, which is 0.05 N. Now, if I do 0.05 times N, what is that going to tell me? What's that give me in the real world? 0.05 times N, what's it give me? No one? Okay, let's say N is 5. Then I did 0.05 times 5. What does that give me? What does that give me in the real world? 25 cents. How much money how much money from the nickels? So 5 cents times the number of nickels tells me how much money I'm making for the nickels. Does it make sense? You don't have to write that, but I want you to understand it, yeah? So money from the nickels plus, which is 0.25 times Q, yeah? So money from the nickels plus money from the quarters equals how much money? Money plus money equals money. Quarters or coins plus coins equals coins, yeah? All right, so there's my system. You will notice on your homework tonight that you're probably going to want to do elimination for almost all of these. There's a couple examples where we want it. But before I started messing with this equation right here, what is going on? This equation, I would simplify it, right? It's not obvious to you guys, but if you I think I'll just start off by multiplying by 100, yeah? I'm going to multiply this one by 100. What's that give me? 5n plus 25q equals 780. What can I divide all of those by? 5. So I'm going to divide them all by 5, and that's what I'm going to write. Let's see. N plus 5q equals, I don't mind if you use a calculator tonight, but what is 780 divided by 5? 150, what is that? 7 is 20, is it 157? No, that can't be right. Is it 56? 156? Let me check it real quick. You could do 156 times 5 to make sure. 750 plus 30. Yeah, that's right. All right, there we go. That's my first equation. And my second equation was n plus q equals 60 Now, which method would be the smartest to use here? Definitely elimination. What should I do?
You should multiply Q by 5.
You could, or negative 5, but why don't I just negatize one of them and the ends will go away? Yeah? So I guess I'll negatize this one, yeah? And what do I get? Negative n minus q equals negative 60. Yeah? And I get what? Oops. I get n plus q, n plus 5q equals 156. So negative n and n makes 0. That's why I did that. I get what? 4q equals, what is 60 from 156? The 94? 94? So q equals, q better come out to a whole number. We can't have a partial nickel. Did I make a mistake somewhere? Thank you. 96. I made that mistake last period too. All right. And 96 divided by 4, I think, is 24, yeah? Is that reasonable? Is 24 for Q reasonable?
Yes.
Yeah, it's how many quarters? Yeah. All right. So now we know what? 24 quarters. I'm going to write my answer now, yeah? 24 quarters. How many nickels? Well, n plus q makes 60, right? So if there's 24, what's the other one? 36? Because 36 plus 24 equals 60. Is that reasonable? All right, so we just did the math for it, right? N plus q makes up to 60. Now let's see if the math works. I don't mind if you grab a calculator and do the math for this, okay? So we get what? 24 quarters times 25 cents plus, that's $6, right? Plus 36 times 0.05, that's 780. 780 plus 6. Oh, no, that's 780. I already added them, yeah? $7.80. It works. Is that hard? All right. All right, let's do it again. If you have your notes at home, if you're watching this video, we changed the numbers to 215. And instead of A, make it 40 barbecue cells. All right, so a baseball team raised $215 from 40 barbecue cells, yes? Not, they had 40 cells, but they sold like 40 tickets, if that made sense. Somebody didn't understand that last period, yeah? Adult tickets are $625 and children's tickets are $450. All right, so we got two variables. What are they? A and C. A is not the number of adults sold, and C is not the number of children sold. We're not doing... Ooh, let's do slavery word problems. That doesn't sound inappropriate at all. All right, what does A stand for, though?
Number of adult tickets.
Number of adult tickets sold, right? And C will be the number of children sold. So tickets to buy children. No? Number of, that looks like you wrote chicken. Chicken tickets. Children. Child tickets sold, yeah? All right, once again, this is a perfect example of this. How many and how much? How many? How many? 40. How much? It's basically the same problem again, yeah? So adult tickets plus child tickets adds up to 40. And then how much is an adult ticket? 625 times A plus a kid's ticket is 450 times C. How much money from the adult tickets plus how much money from the kids' tickets equals $215. Now, what could I do to this problem to make it easier? I could multiply by 100, but there's a much smarter thing. If I double this, that would get rid of the 450, right? But that wouldn't get rid of the 625. If I multiply this one by 4, quarters will go to whole dollars, right? So that's what I'm going to do. That's probably not intuitive to many you guys probably know this, but multiply by 4. What's 4 times 625? You don't know? That'd be $6 plus 4 quarters. $6 is 24 plus $1, 25. So that's 25 adults plus 450 times 4. Well, 450 times 2 is 9, so 18. 18C equals 4 215s is what? 860, I believe. You see why multiplying by 4 is a smart move there? I used to not care. On the STAR test, I used to not care because there was a key on your calculator that would just do ugly math for you for systems. You could literally just type those into a calculator and look at it. Why don't I teach you that anymore? Because they disabled it on the test, so there's no sense learning it. I will show it to you sometime just so in case you ever have your own Inspire at home, you can do them. But you can't use it on the test anymore. Can I simplify that?
Yeah.
What could I divide by?
You can divide by 3.
I don't think I can divide by 3 because 25 can't be divided by 3. 18 and 860 could not, actually. I don't think I can simplify that. Yeah? So I'm going to take the first equation, I'm going to multiply it by 25 because it's easier to do math with 25. So I'm going to multiply by negative 25 and negative 25, and I'm going to write it down here. So I get negative 25a plus, minus what? Minus 25,
Equals negative
25c equals negative, I think that's 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000. All right, that makes the a's go bye-bye. 18 and negative 25, negative 7. Now you're like, well, you can't have negative children. Yeah, but the sum is negative also, so you could. And I think this is negative 140 if I'm not mistaken. And a negative divided by negative is going to go positive. We can't have negative children's tickets, right? So negative 7, negative 7. So C is what? 20, which makes A. Which makes A 20. So 20 child and 20 adult tickets sold, right? Easy? All right, you see the rhythms to these? That's a very traditional problem. If you grabbed a textbook from 100 years ago in algebra doing systems, they would probably have a problem like this, yeah? They're very, very common. All right, this is a little bit harder. Andy has $6.20 in nickels and dimes. He has 20 fewer nickels than dimes. All right, what's our variables? N and D. ND, number of nickels, number of dimes. Be very careful. When you say N and D, you're not saying how much you have in nickels or how much you have in dimes. You're literally just counting how many nickels are there. So if I said N was 5, what am I saying? 5 nickels. I'm not saying 25 cents, yeah? Because 5 times 5 cents is 25 cents. I'm not saying that, yeah? All right. Okay, so the first equation is not, why is this wrong? Can someone tell me? N plus D equals 620? Why is that wrong? Not nickels plus dimes equals how many coins, not how much money. So how do I turn this into money? How do I turn this into money? 0.05 times the number of nickels plus 0.10 times the number of dimes equals 620. And I think if I multiply that by 20, everything is pretty. Let's just multiply by 100, and then we can simplify. It's faster. I don't want to deal with that, right? It's ugly numbers. So that's 5n plus 10d equals 620. Divide by 5, right? So we get n plus 2d equals, divide by 5 is 130, 12 is 2, 120 what, somebody? Is it 124? Can someone check my math? It's 124 times 5?
24.
Yeah, There we go. All right, cool. All right, there's my first equation, yeah? Now, if this was on the STAR test, this would, sometimes if you grab a STAR test and you look at it, they don't ask you to solve it, they ask you to set it up. So this would be the setup, yes? Not this. This is us trying to solve it, yeah? But if they ask you to set it up, that's it. You would just say 0.05n plus 0.1d equals 620. About half the time, that's what they'll ask you to do. Now, once I picked one, I would solve it anyways to make sure my numbers work, that I don't get negative nickels or partial dimes or whatever, yeah? All right, what's my second equation? This is the harder one, I think, of the two. He has 20 fewer nickels than dimes. All right, we got the nickels and dimes. Which one is there 20 less of? Do I subtract 20 from the nickels or do I subtract 20 from the dimes? This is what we talked about on the previous lesson, right? If I have 20, remember what, this is the way I had to help some people this morning in tutoring about this. N is a number, right? And D is a number. I just don't know what the numbers are yet. N is 20 less than D. So I don't take away 20. This is wrong. Don't write this. I don't take away 20 from the one that's already 20 less. How do I get them equal? I could add 20 to N. That would work. Or I could subtract 20 from the D's, which is what we're going to do. So there's my second equation, right? Let me clean this up. N equals 20 minus, or D minus 20. And then I'm going to do substitution in this case. Actually, I don't know. If I brought the D over, it's not so bad, is it? No, I can plug this straight in. This is faster. It's faster to just plug this straight in right here, yeah? So I get D minus 20 plus 2D equals 124. So I get 3D equals 104. Oh, I have to add 20, not subtract 20. So what is that? 144? Add 20, add 20. So D is, someone help me out, what is that? 48, I think? Can someone check my math? All right, if the dimes is 48, then what's the nickels? 28. Why? Because the dimes minus 20 makes the nickels. There's 20 less of them. All right, so there we go. We think, that's our answer, right? We think there's 48 dimes and 28 nickels. Now let's make sure that's right. 48 plus 48 is 20 more than 28. That's good. And let's do the harder part. Grab a calculator tonight. I don't mind if you use one. All right? You got to show your work, though. If I have 48 dimes times 10 cents plus 28 nickels times 0.05 cents, I get $6.20, which is what I said I should have. You should never miss these. You may not, well, you could miss them, but you'll at least know when you missed it because you can't make it work, yeah? All right. All right, that's it.